I want to start off by being honest for a moment because the way we are talking to ourselves as midlife women these days, it's the very thing keeping you stuck. And I'll show you exactly what I mean. We have these moments where we're walking into the bathroom, catching our reflection, brushing our teeth, whatever it is. And these interactions happen so quickly that we don't catch it right away. But you have this little thought, right? And the thought goes something similar to, my skin, it looks tired and dry. When did my hair start getting gray? Right? You start wondering, like, when did this happen? And then you move on. So later in the day, you kind of forget that you had that thought. But that moment didn't just stay at the mirror. It follows you for the rest of the day. And so you don't even realize, but you're now feeling less motivated. Something feels off and you don't show up the same way. And so you don't even connect the two things, the thought that just was really quick to how it's affected your motivation for the day, but they are connected. So, hey friend, if we haven't met yet, I'm Michelle Rose. I'm a health and beauty strategist for Christian midlife women. And I love helping all of you guys fall back in love with the woman that you see in the mirror. And we don't necessarily do this by fixing everything here, but I love to do it in a way that is about changing the foundational thing that's driving how you show up as yourself. And so today we're going to be talking about that shift from criticism to compassion. And by the end of this, you're going to understand like what's actually happening in those small moments, the moments that we so easily forget because they come and go so quickly, and why it's been affecting your consistency more than you actually recognize or realize, and then what to do differently right there in real time so that things start getting back on track and you stop being stuck. Because once you see it, you're going to start catching it everywhere. Let's just sit with that for a second, that moment in the mirror. We're looking in the mirror because most of us think that it was just a passing thought. And we think that voice is us just being honest with ourselves or authentic or just recognizing the shift that's taken place, right? And so we may or may not, with that thought, be trying to hold ourselves accountable to something, or even in a twisted way, I think we're also trying to motivate ourselves a little bit, right? To get us to do something about whatever that item is that we notice. And it might look like I just need to be real with myself so that I can go and fix it. But that's not what's happening in that mirror moment. What's actually happening is you're training yourself how to respond to what you see. And the way you respond in that moment, so when your first response is, I don't like this, right? Or I need to fix this, or what happened, that sets the tone for everything that comes after that thought. And it doesn't just stay as a thought, right? And if you're in any life coaching circles, you know this, that thought becomes something else, right? It becomes your focus and your direction. And it shapes your energy, your motivation, your consistency, the very thing you're trying to achieve in your life. It could be affected by that. And that's why something that feels so small ends up affecting your entire day. So we've gotten so used to that voice, that inner voice. So let's go ahead and talk about what happens when you lead yourself that way, because this is where things actually get a little bit uncomfortable, right? But also really freeing, because if you're willing to see it, you will find freedom. That voice you think is helping you is actually the reason you keep starting over. And this is not something that I hear often. So I want you to think about this. Like every time you notice something you don't like, whether it's your skin, your weight, your energy, your bank statement, your consistency, whatever it is, what's your first response? Our first response is we want to fix it, right? Make it go away. So fix it fast, hard, and perfect, right? Because I know a lot of moms out there, we like to be perfectionists because life, you survive that way, right? So what do we do after we've had this compulsion to fix it? We start a new routine. We buy new products. We make a plan. We obsess on YouTube, learning the thing. We tell ourselves this time, I'm going to stay consistent. I'm going to fix it. And for a little while, that actually works, right? You're motivated, you're focused, you're showing up. But then life happens. You might miss a day. You fall off track a little bit. And that same inner voice that came in to start this process comes right back. And it's saying things like, see, this is why nothing works, right? You always do this. You just need more discipline. And if you're willing to look at it, you can catch what's happening. It's that cycle. And so the routine, it was built on criticism. So when your starting point is built on criticism, thoughts like, I don't like this about myself, I need to fix this, then everything you build on top of that foundation, it's powered by pressure. It's not from that self-care place. And so that pressure, it works until it doesn't. So let me explain it a little more simply if I can. When you're leading yourself with criticism, you're constantly putting yourself in a pass fail system. You're either doing it right or you're doing it completely wrong and messing it all up, right? So the moment you're not perfect, you don't just feel off, like you feel like you failed. And when you feel like you failed, you don't want to show up. So you stop. So it's not that you don't have discipline. Like all of us, we're probably the most disciplined people I know. It's that you aren't set up in a way that you can succeed because you're set up with criticism being your foundation instead of care. And so when that happens, you don't have consistency. So that's why it looks like starting over every Monday, doing great for 2 weeks, then disappearing, right? Avoiding the mirror again or the camera again, or putting off taking care of yourself. And every time that happens, that inner voice, it gets stronger because now it has built more evidence. It's got receipts. And so it's saying things like, I told you, this is who you are. And I need you to hear this because this is not who you are. You've got so much proof and evidence of this not being who you are. That's just the system built upon the criticism that's speaking. So here's a small shift I want you to try. Next time you catch yourself going into that fix it mode, instead of immediately asking yourself, like, how do I fix this? Ask yourself, what would it look like to support myself and actually help me in this situation to be consistent? Those are two completely different approaches. One is urgent, built on things that you've observed and compared yourself to. And then the other one is sustainable. And let's be real, a lot more fun, right? Because you get to make decisions out of that process that are customized to your needs and how you would truly enjoy walking out that process. So I'm not saying if you look at yourself in the mirror and you want to lose weight, don't go lose weight. Like what I'm trying to say is instead of shaming yourself and building your weight loss program on criticism, I want you to sit back and go, why do I want to lose weight? Okay, if that's the why, what can I do to support myself for that being the end game, knowing that weight loss is just going to be a byproduct? Right. And so it's a lot more fun. And so let's actually go down that road. Let's talk about what's actually underneath all of this and how to walk it out towards compassion. And I'm speaking from recent experience on this, just so you know. The Lord and I, we like to have these conversations and go down these journeys. So when you go and look at what's underneath all of this, what helps is not more information, right? We've got information everywhere, but it's actually to sit back and be honest with yourself. And so here's where I want to remind you that there is a worksheet in the Facebook group, Making Life Beautiful Again. You can grab it and it'll walk you through how to identify these patterns for yourself. And because I don't want to be just someone that you listen to, like I want you to actually experience this shift that I got to experience here recently, because awareness without action is where most people stay stuck, right? And I'll tell you, the more I've been working through this myself and with other women, I'm realizing how much of this is actually fueled by comparison. And it's usually not just one event of comparison, but it's that compilation and stacking of little mini comparisons that we have on a daily exposure. What you're seeing, what you're measuring yourself against, what you don't even realize is shaping that inner voice, that critic. And that's actually why I've been working on something totally behind the scenes. I've been working on a 5-day comparison cleanse. And it's not there just to help you stop comparing, because there will be moments, but to help you actually break the cycle where things are actually shifting and transforming and happening. And so I'm not opening that up just yet. Pay attention over the next couple weeks. You're going to totally love it. It'll be available here soon. Okay, so now you can probably see the pattern a little more clearly, right? What's underneath it, how we've built that foundation. And so you notice something, you'll want to fix it, you start something new, then somehow you're finding yourself right back at that beginning place where you notice something, you want to fix it, and you start something new, right? And you're not even giving yourself a chance with that new thing to see if it'll even work, right? Because you've already looped the cycle. And so if we're not careful, we just assume we need more discipline or a better plan. And as I have said before, I love a good plan. I am a very big planner. But if all you do is try to fix the pattern, you're going to keep repeating it, right? Because there's something underneath it that hasn't been addressed yet. And so let's just make this completely practical. The next time this happens, and it will, I don't want you to try to fix it. Not right away. In that moment, when you look in the mirror and something hits you, instead of going straight into what do I need to do about this and how can I fix it, I want you to slow down and just catch the thought. And you're not going to do anything. You don't want to judge or fix the thought. You just recognize that that thought was there, because you can't change something that you're not aware of. And then I want you to name what's underneath it. Instead of saying, I don't like this, whatever thing, ask yourself, what's actually going on underneath that? So I mentioned it before. If you want to lose weight, why? What's underneath it? So in this particular situation, I want you to also identify the emotion that's with it. Is it frustration, discouragement, grief, fear? If you don't name the feeling, you often default back to fixing it. And then I want you to lead yourself with care from there. So now you get to decide how you're going to respond. You don't have to react, you get to respond. And the world right now is so reactive. And so how neat to build this discipline where instead of reacting, you've slowed down and you choose to respond. And so sometimes this looks like, okay, what's one small thing I can do to take care of myself here? If it's grief that I'm feeling, what can I do to support the healing from that grief? Because remember, care creates that consistency. Pressure is the one that creates the burnout. And boy, I know we've all experienced burnout. And this is why it matters so much, because now you're not building your routines from frustration or grief or whatever the emotion is or feeling is that you identified. You're building it from awareness. And I'm sure you've heard your true self and your false self. You're building it from your true self position. And that's where the Lord gets to be involved and speak. And that's a completely different foundation. And so you don't quit as quickly. You don't spiral out. You don't start over every Monday because you're not constantly working against yourself anymore. But this only works if you actually practice it. And so remember to go grab that worksheet in the Facebook group to help you walk this out. Because when this happens, and again, it will, you're not going to be trying to figure out what I said or the aha moment you had when you heard something I said. You have something to guide you in that moment. And let's talk about what it looks like to build from a place of compassion instead of criticism before we wrap everything up. When we hear the word compassion, it sounds really nice, but it also feels kind of unclear. Does that mean I just ignore what I'm seeing, like lower my standards, stop trying? Not at all. That is not what we're saying here. Compassion is not letting yourself off the hook at all. It's changing how you lead yourself. You lead yourself with care. You lead yourself connected to the Heavenly Father and letting Him be the CEO of your life. And so the easiest way to see this difference is to go right back to that mirror moment. So let's just go there. Same situation. You caught your reflection. You noticed something. But instead of going straight into like, what's wrong with me? How do I fix this? You pause. And your response sounds more like, okay, something feels off here. This is not the way it has been most like me. And then you think, let me pay attention to what I actually need here. So instead of I need to start over on Monday, I might have eaten the dessert last night. So today I may not be fully on track with this diet, but I'm going to drink more water today. I'm going to go take 5 minutes and just move my body, right? I'm going to actually follow through with one small thing or exchange where I eat vegetables instead of chips, right? It's you thinking through what do you actually need, and I know that I had a podcast episode, I think sometime last year about diet, and it's like if you need something crunchy and that's why you're going to the crackers or the chips, think what vegetables or what other item provides what you need to be crunchy. So it's really, really neat once you start thinking through the why you're feeling this way, right? And so you get to still have your cake and eat it too in this situation. You're going to have fun with this instead of the feeling you always have when you criticize yourself and the pressure that builds up to feeling bad about yourself. Because that criticism, it's always going to lead you to starting over. And it's whatever you start over, it's never enough, right? So if you take nothing else from any of this that we talked about today, if we don't deal with what's influencing that inner voice, right? It's going to keep showing up. So check in with yourself. What do I need right now? Right. And that's exactly what I'm doing when I build the 5-day comparison cleanse, which is coming soon. Really excited about that. But if you need one-on-one counseling, please email me, Michelle@michelledayrose.com. I'd be happy to set up a session to work with you on this. But next Wednesday, we're going to be building a simple plan for those of you who are tired of starting over. We're adding to this message and just want to feel good in your body again. So please join me.